Happy Friday. It's Fulfilling Life Friday. I have a guest here with me. This is my fiance, Woodelore, and we are in Southern California. I know I haven't done Fulfilling Life Friday in a couple weeks, but I wanted to jump on here and give you some points. We're going to give you some points on how to stay focused and how consistency is important. So Woodelore is going to walk you through a few points, and then I'm going to end with a few points as well. So go ahead.
Good morning or good afternoon, everyone. I'm Woodelore, as fiancé. This morning we're gonna go over consistency. The title is Consistency Pays. We're gonna go over 3 points. The first one is focusing on goals. Second, avoid distractions, and the third, every little steps gets you closer to your goal. When you start something, you have to stick to it. Like, if you wanna study something, go for it. Start it. Start. If you wanna start a program, start it. If you wanna, for example, if you wanna study English, go for it. I can even take an example. I remember I didn't have to go to a particular school to study English, but I can speak English, but I never went to school for that, and I didn't even realize that I could that I got even that far because I didn't really pay attention to that. But you know what? I made it. Now I can speak English. It's only because I was consistent in what I was doing. I read books. I tried to practice English every time I had a chance. I watched English movies and a lot and a lot of other stuff. Also, if you wanna start a business, you don't have to have everything to start what you want. You can just start what you want, and before you know it, you're gonna be there. And it's fine to make mistakes, but just keep on doing your thing. Also, we have like this mindset that, oh, it's gonna take a lot of time, and we but I think it's laziness. I mean, when I said we, I mean some people have that mindset, but it's just laziness. And that's also distraction, because sometimes you start something but you think that's too much to do, or you let distractions take you away from your goal, from your point. And for example, you can be studying and you think it's not that fun. You need a break. Of course, you can have a break. It's fine, but don't forget why you start. Also, you have to remember that in this world, it's like everybody is trying to have their their hands on everybody's on what I mean on. Let me take a break, by the way. You don't everybody is trying to have their mark in this world, but you also have to struggle. You also have to make sure that you can have your own mark too. For that you can, I mean, I'm talking about footprint. What you wanna do, what you wanna what you really want to do, because people would be telling you, oh, you need to do this in order to be successful, you have to do that in order to be successful. No, just do what you want to do, do what you really like, and just stick to it. Also, people are trying to possess everything. People are trying to be powerful, are trying to be really wealthy, and at some point you might think that you depend on someone to have everything. Because let's say for example, the house you are living in belongs to somebody, probably. The job you are doing, you depend on somebody. I mean, when I say you depend on somebody, it's like I mean, you don't just try to not be just try to not be fully dependable and on someone. Try to have your own dependency, financial, um, spiritual, and that takes time, that takes consistency, that takes work. But you're gonna make it if you're consistent in what you are doing. Also, I keep saying also, I know, but if you wanna if you wanna I keep talking about business because that's really capital nowadays, especially if you want to be financially, especially if you want to have financial freedom. But it doesn't have to be business. Just know that every little steps get you closer to your goal. If you want to sort of study something, just go for it. And yeah, you might say, oh yeah, it's gonna take time. Of course it's gonna take time, but guess what? Before you know it, you will make it. Like, it can be 4 years, yeah, but since you keep doing it, since you keep being consistent, you're gonna make it before you even realize it. It might take sacrifices, but before you know it, you're gonna be over it. You might even forget those sacrifices you made when when you will be on top of the of your when you'll be on top, when you will make it. Yeah, just keep doing your thing and being consistent. Thank you.
Okay, so I wanted to expand on some of the things he said. As far as starting something, it's important to finish it. And not in the sense that you need to reach a certain level and you have arrived, but the sense of you should continue with what you're doing. It's not just about starting, it's also about finishing and making progress along the way. One example is Dare Humanity was not what it is today. 2015, when it was started, it was not where it is today. We didn't have the mission statement. We had no idea we would be working in Haiti. We didn't know that we would have people that are helping us. And so that just is an example of the consistency that it'll pay off if you stick with it. Like, Dare Humanity could have been something that I started in 2015 and it could have just ended there. We would have never started work in Haiti, would have never connected with other people and organizations to work with. But because of my consistency and staying the course, I was able to expand that with the help of people along the way.
Exactly.
And your efforts are leading somewhere. So often we get in certain situations and we're like, okay, well, you can't expect to start a business and for it to jump off immediately. You have to be consistent and learn as you go, and continue to do research on the things that the areas that you're going into, because if you're not going to remain consistent, then it's a possibility that you're not going to reach your destiny. If you're not being consistent about the situation, you're not connecting with people, always talking about your organization, your business, your book, whatever it is. You have to believe in what you are building as much as you're expressing it to other people, because that's when people will invest into you, invest into your business, your organization, and the people that you're aiming to help.
Correct. Absolutely.
And there's a lot of periods when it comes to my organization where I'm like, well, there's nothing happening. It seems like there's nothing happening. I'm asking for things and then I'm not receiving them. But the reality is that whatever you're building, whatever you're funding, it's going to be funded. It's not about how much money you have in your bank account. It shouldn't limit you from starting because you think your bank account is not enough to fulfill your dream. A lot of the times I've pursued something and God has filled in the gaps. And so faith is something that is key in the process, because if you're not having faith about it, if you have your doubts, if you let people and their opinions stop you from certain situations and building something, then you're going to be 20 years from now not having built anything because of the opinions or your doubts, or because you couldn't remain consistent. So that's important.
Exactly. And also when when you stop, it's not just you're gonna be at the same place because the water is moving. As long as you stop at the same place, you're gonna be well behind because they keep moving.
Right. And then I always speak on keeping your habits and maintaining your discipline, because if you don't maintain your habits and your discipline, for example, creating a schedule of your work, even if it's 20 hours or 20 minutes a week that you spend on something that you're building, researching, or figuring out which communities and which organizations and people to connect with, that 20 minutes per week minimum can take your organization from point A to point Z in no time. So don't compare yourself to people's first chapter compared to chapter 35. Like if we're to say, oh, I'm going to start a social media business, and you start comparing your social media business to Facebook and Instagram when they have had years of experience, and maybe they're not at the level that you're on, that you may encourage yourself, or you may think that you have to be that person, you have to be like that person, and it deters you from what your goals are and what you are building. Whatever you're building is supposed to be unique. It's supposed to be a vision that only you can have, and that means when you have a vision that only you have, sometimes people aren't going to support you. Sometimes people are not going to understand, and they're not going to buy your product, or they're not going to buy your book, or they're not going to invest in your business, and that's okay, because there are going to be people that are set aside to actually invest in what you're doing, to donate to your organization, and to seed into you and to give into you, and want you to grow and want you to be successful. So don't worry about the naysayers, and keep in faith, and always think ahead, and get involved with people who are entrepreneurs themselves, or people, even if they're not entrepreneurs, people who are always thinking of the future and thinking positively, because you don't want to be around people who are speaking negatively over the things that you're building, because it can distract you, and it can lead to stagnation, and it can lead to you not actually building anymore because of those experiences.
So, mhm. So the only person you should challenge is yourself.
Right.
You don't have to be in challenge with anybody else. Challenge yourself. Just try to go from here to there, and you're gonna make it.
Yes. So that's all for Fulfilling Friday. Next Friday is, I think it's the last Friday of the year, and so we're going to be jumping on here again. I hope this blessed you. So I always close out Fulfilling Life Friday with speaking blessings over you. So we speak blessings over the last final days of this year and your peace, because it's important to have peace in situations. Don't let people or certain situations get you off track and distract you and make you not feel happy this holiday season. Also, I speak blessings over your goals. Spend some time working on your goals this weekend. Your goals are just as important as the goals of the organizations and companies you work for. And I speak blessings over your health and your mental well-being. Don't let people distract you, and don't let the enemy try to fight you in situations. Stay in prayer. So that's all for Feeling Like Friday. I hope you enjoyed my guest, and we'll see you next time.